Hello again, everyone. Deflect here, Firm but Fair Gaming. So I wanted to bring you the build video I'm using for this Zero to Hero on KSM. Currently, I put out a couple videos on the experience so far from 50 to 60, and then my level 60 to gearing. And then I've done a few dungeons from KSM, trying to get KSM or working on KSM. Just some low ones to get into it because I don't have gear yet, working on getting gear and valor. So I've done a couple 2s, 4s, and 5. And the build I am using for this Disc Priest, I am going to go through the talents first because that's the easiest way. I'm using Twist of Fate. I know a lot of people, they can use Schism, but it gives you a little more damage. But Twist of Fate, heal target below 35% health, you deal 20% increased damage and healing for 10 seconds. So far, I find I'm using this a lot, but I'm going to continue to see. If it starts to drop off, I'm going to switch to Schism. I'm using this one instead of the Feather. The Feather does give you the speed burst, but I'm using this when you cast Shadowlands on yourself. Its damage over time effect heals you instead and reduces all damage you take for 10 seconds. Or take by 10%, sorry. So it gives me a 10% damage reduction because I do cast on myself quite a bit, which is nice. The Feather is nice too for the movement. So it was a tough call between this, but this is what I'm using so far. I'm using Mindbender. I just find I use it more often than Power Word Solace. I know this gives you 1% back and you can use it every 12 seconds, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. So I don't use it for that reason. And I went to Mindbender on the 1 minute CD. Shining Force, create a burst light around friendly targets, knocking them away is okay. It really reduced the cooldown of Scream by 30 seconds, so it would then be a 30-second cooldown. Cooldown would be good too. I'm in between those two. Shining Force right now I'm using this week because of the shades. So there's a lot of shades, so I use Shining Force. It is a 45-second CD, but I can alternate with the Scream. For the next one, I'm using Sins of Many. Your damage increased by up to 12%, diminishing for each ally affected by your atonement. It's not great because a lot of allies have atonement on, but if you're just taking single damage and your tank has it, it's a bit more DPS. I've looked at the other two. The healing on Contrition just isn't enough. And the Shadow Covenant make a Shadowy Pact, healing the target and 4 injured allies within 30 yards for X amount for 7 seconds. Your Shadow spells deal 25% increased damage and healing, but you cannot cast Holy Spells. That was the one I did not want to trade off. So if I couldn't cast Holy Spells, I'm in trouble. So I just didn't take this one. The boost was nice. It was on a short CD, but then you can't cast Holy Spells, so I was screwed anyway. So it was between these two, and I took Sins. Divine Star can do a ton of damage. So as long as you're popping this in packs on CD, it does great damage. So I took that. And then it was in between all of these. I went with Atonement's reduced damage taken by 3%. Spirit Shell was another one I debated for 10 seconds. Penance, Radiance, Atonement create absorb shields for 80% of their value instead of healing. And Evangelism. This is a great one while you're ramping. Extend the duration of all your active atonements by 6 seconds. If this lined up better with Boon, Boon you can have back in like 45 seconds to a minute, depending on the pack size. If it lined up better with Boon, I'd take this every time. But because Boon I have, and it would be up every 2, it's still okay, but that's why I just went with your atonements by 3%. That's the sole reason. If this is on a 1 minute CD, I would take this day in, day out, all day. I do have a link. Check out the Twitch page as well. We're streaming the Zero to KSM there. Also the Patreon if you're looking for weak auras like this one. I made this one and it will be available in the Patreon section, so check out the Patreon. Getting back into the rest of the build, as you can see, my gear is pretty garbage. I'm 244. I haven't got any drops yet, which is crazy. Out of the few dungeons I've done, I did buy these with the Sandstorm Relic. Sorry, I did get 2 of these because people gave them to me and they didn't need them. So I didn't get the drop, but I got the reward. So that was great. But I did buy with Sandsworn Relics, so I have the 4-piece, and I have the 2 legendaries. The legendary I am using is the Unity, of course, which is Boon of Ascendance cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds up to 60 seconds for each Boon of Ascendance consumed by Ascendant Eruption. Oh, so up to 60 seconds. So that's a 2-minute CD. I wonder why I've seen it down to 40 seconds. I don't understand. I did that, but anyway, interesting. I'll have to retest that again. Maybe my timer was off on it, but if that's the case, then maybe Evangelism might be the best. Otherwise, I'm also using Powered Radiance as a 60% chance to cause your next penance to be free and fire 3 extra bolts. 8 procs all the time. It's amazing. So as long as, you know, before you cast, when there's going to be some damage, just Powered Radiance. And then you can see it procs. I have the little proc note here as well. So your next penance will deal 95% additional damage or healing. I don't have the one that actually fires the extra bolt, but you can see there it goes. Now, I am working on Haze First gear because you are very squishy. So if I can get Haze First, that's what I like. The mastery is good too, and absorption is decreased, but crit is, I do want to get my crit up. Chance for extra effectiveness on attacks and heals. So if I can get crit haste up there with more verse, I'd be just really, really happy with that. And I don't have any of the best in slot trinkets. I just have 1 on use and 1 still like garbage trinket, but that's the build I'm running so far. That's what we're going for KSM on. I will update further each time I progress there. We are going to be doing some more dungeons today and some more live streaming. So check us out on Twitch. You can come see how the Disc Priest is going. We did fail the Grim Rail Deep. I forgot I did that 6, but it didn't go well. And you can't win them all. So the life of pugging. Anyways, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe, deflect, Firm but Fair Gaming. Biggest thing you want to do, well, while you're getting ready is Powered Radiance. So I'll get a little rotation when I'm using Powered Radiance, and then everyone should have Atonement, which I made pink so I can just brightly see it. And then you want a Penance with that extra. Then you'll go into a damage rotation. So you want to have your dot already up. Like I'm assuming you have your dot up already. That's your first thing you put up. And then you Powered Radiance, and then you Penance if it's up, and then you go into either Mind Seer. It only affects 1 target, so you're not getting the healing from it, but you do your Mind Seer, your Mind Blast. And it's when it comes back. Yeah, to do more damage, Mind Seer is great. Don't forget to throw your Divine Star. I can't throw it in here because I don't have a target, but Divine Star to throw is always amazing. These are my big defensive ones, slash offense kind of boon with PI. Put PI in the center because PI is always great. When you start ramping with boon, you want to cast Ascendant Blast, and then you just keep casting your boon button until Ascendant Blast is back up, and then you keep casting your boon button. It's usually 2 to 3, depending on your haste levels, and you can get about 3 of the new smites out. So it changes it to Ascendant Blast. Yeah, so you get Ascendant Blast, and you can get about 3 Ascendant Blasts out, and then you just keep Ascendant Nova, Ascendant Nova, Ascendant Nova, Blast. You can also throw in a Penance if it's procced during the downtime, or a Divine Star to get some more too. But I just usually, if I have time, I always ramp with that. And the ramp is pretty easy, so just make sure you do put Powered Radiance before you ramp, and try and dot before you ramp too, so that way you're ready to ramp. Some of the time when they're taking damage, it might not work as well, but you do have other CDs to have them procced up. So you have Rapture you can always put on. You do have the Powered Barrier you can throw up to protect him a little while you're ramping, because it will heal. And then, of course, you have Pain Suppression. So as long as you're rotating the CDs, it's very good. You have your own personals with Fade and Desperate Prayer. And then I'm watching my Trinket here, just in case. Which I can't use right now because I don't have a good target for it. And then Mindbender. So that's what I'm watching, and the Radiance charges. And when I put them both on cooldown, it really goes red, just so I know. Uh-oh. But that's the way I like my UI. I also have the procs here, so you can see when they're set up and they're running. But that's kind of the ramp rotation, you know. Shadow Word Pain before. Make sure you have everyone just before you boon. Hit Power Word Radiance. It won't last the whole boon, but it will last the majority of it. And if people are taking heavy damage still through boon, instead of using Ascendant Nova, just replace that with a couple shields. Or you Power Word Radiance again in between. But you will be able to get 3 of the Ascended blasts off. And then during the damage rotation, do not use Smite during your boon. It does not do any healing, so you're just wasting Smite. It's just a filler spell. Same with when you're trying to heal people with Power Word Radiance. Don't use Smite, it won't do anything. Use Divine Star, use Mind Blast, use Penance, use Mind Seer. Those will do stuff. Shadow Word Death does not either, so Smite and Shadow Word Death kind of, if you need to heal, don't use those. But they're not... There's really no emergency button other than Rapture to save someone. That's the big thing. You have to kind of preemptive the damage, and you got to watch for it. So that's the biggest key while you are Disc Priest. Anyways, once again, leave a comment below and check out the 0 to KSM on disc. We will see you in the next video.